Hello everyone, and today I am here to talk to you about Spider-Man Homecoming. In case you didn't know, Spider-Man Homecoming came out this weekend, and it was thoroughly enjoyable. I'm going to start out with a non-spoilery review, and then I'm going to move into my spoilery review. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, I would highly recommend it and then come back watching this. But if you don't want to watch the movie without hearing my non-spoilery review, that's fine too. Both, I'm pretty sure will tell you enough about the movie and whether or not you want to see it. So without further ado, Spider-Man Homecoming, you don't get the origin story that the other two Spider-Man movies gave. I don't want to say other two movies. The other two Spider-Mans, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, those series that they gave you, because this Spider-Man is coming from after the events of Captain America: Civil War. He's already been bitten by the spider. That story is done with, and it starts after the events of Civil War. Overall, Spider-Man Homecoming was a very, I don't want to say like fun, but it was kind of fun. It has like very funny moments, because most of the other Avengers, you know, are adults, fully grown, and yeah, they still have their humor, but like, to me, as a teenager, the humor in Spider-Man Homecoming appealed to me more, I guess, because it's coming from other teenagers. Tony Stark did not play as big a role as I thought he would, but he was still there, and it was very much part of Peter's growth, and I guess you could say it helped move the story along, but I never thought there was a dull moment during the movie, and it was 2 hours long. It filled everything, it left me satisfied, it made me want to go see it again. I don't know what to say without spoiling you. I guess you could watch the trailer, or all of them, because there's several. But yeah, you should go see it. I enjoyed it very much. If you haven't heard me say it before, I love Spider-Man. He was the first superhero that I really connected with, I guess. I don't know. I just really enjoyed the story. I thought it was really interesting. So, when there was a new Spider-Man, I was kind of upset, but at the same time, I was, excited because more Spider-Man. And the good thing was that you got to be introduced to him in Captain America: Civil War, so you could decide for yourself then if you enjoyed this Spider-Man. But some people didn't like him, and I don't know why. He it was part, I guess, the comic relief of Civil War, but he, I don't know, he's kind of awkward, and Peter Parker is awkward, but he's also, like, good at being a superhero, and I think he has a really good balance, and in Civil War you really didn't get to see a whole lot of his, like, two different sides, like the Peter Parker side and the Spider-Man side. You mostly saw the Spider-Man side, but I thought all of his scenes were great in Civil War, so I was very excited for this movie, and it did not disappoint me. And that is all I have for this non-spoiler review. So if you haven't watched the movie, you've been warned. You should probably leave now. Bye. hello to the people that have watched this movie. Ugh. Now I can say all the things I was trying not to say during my non-spoilery section. So, my god. So much happened in that movie. I don't know where to start. Okay. I guess I should start by, like, giving it, a rating, like, out of 5 stars. I would give it 5 stars. I can't even speak right. Yeah, Spider-Man, he's just great. He's the cutest. Okay. Let's try and talk about the things that happened. So, in the beginning was really cute. That had hit Peter's little video diary of when he went to fight with the Avengers. He was so cute. And one of the things I really thought was funny during the entire movie was how hard he was trying to make sure not anyone, like, figured out who he was. And then he's coming through his window, and then his, bud, I think his name's Ned. That sounds right. I'm sorry if I got it wrong. I've been known to get names wrong. So his friend, Ned, is just, like, in his bedroom, and he's, like, he can't get out of it. And then it was also very funny because at the end, when he gets his suit back, and he's, like, taking it all in again, standing in his bedroom with his door wide open, and there's Aunt May. And I kind of liked that. Like, it was different than anything else, because in the other movies, Aunt May, like, never found out about Spider-Man, and I don't know. She played, I guess, a decent enough role in the movie. She wasn't around a lot, but I was very happy when she and Peter had that moment after he told her that he lost the internship with Stark Industries, and she just kind of held him as he cried. And then the scene where he's like, Aunt May, I need your help for the homecoming dance. And she's like teaching him to dance, but it's like really outdated. But he doesn't know. And it's a good thing he needs those dance moves because he runs out of the homecoming dance like 2 minutes in, maybe? I don't know. He stood outside of that door for a good minute. Ugh. Oh. And when we talk about the plot twist, when he goes to pick up Liz, and her dad is the Vulture, I did not see that coming. I was like, what? What? Okay. I think, like, the entire theater had to take a minute to be like, whoa, whoa, hold on. Like, and he, like, opened the door, and because Spider-Man's face is hidden, he had, like, no idea who this guy was, and was just like, you must be Peter, and you're here for Liz. And I'm like, oh, this is great. Peter's, like, scared out of his mind. He's like, oh my god. He's not saying anything, but, like, in his head, he's probably like, oh my god. He's like, he's glancing back and forth between the dad and... It was very comical, but at the same time, I was like, oh no, he's gonna figure it out. Peter is, like, not very good at, hiding his emotions. I also really liked that we got to see a lot of, Peter's, I guess you could say, like, how smart he is, because he's on the academic decathlon team. He didn't do anything for them, but he was on the team. And he's into, like, a bunch of nerdy stuff. Like, he and his friend, they built the Death Star. I thought that was so funny. And in the end credits, they had to list, like, the Star Wars merchandise. Oh, that was fun. And I don't know if he went back to the band. I think he did, because that's where they finished building the Death Star the second time, after Ned broke it the first time. I really liked the characterization of Peter in this movie. He very much seemed like a kid who didn't know what to do, and that was like a big part of the plot, that he needed to figure out what to do. He was in his head because I'm Spider-Man, I fought with the Avengers, and he just feels like he's on top of the world, but at the same time, he needs to remember who he is on the inside, and I think that's where Tony played a part when he took back the suit. He's like, that's it, kid, you're done. And I thought that boat scene was very intense. When Spider-Man had the suit, that he named Karen, I thought that was pretty funny. When he had the suit, like, help him use his web shooters to, try and fix the boat, that was very cool. I loved how, like, everything was together, and then it was like, you're 98%, you almost got it, but not quite. And then everything starts ripping. And then he's like using these webs that look like they're about to break, and he's just like holding up the boat, and he thinks he's like pulling it together, and then Iron Man shows up. And I don't know, it was a very intense scene. And then afterward, when he was talking to Tony, and he's like, I bet you couldn't even be bothered to, like, be here. Because, like, earlier in the movie, when Tony wasn't even there to save Peter, he just had the suit doing it. He was at, like, some party. And then Tony steps out of the suit. I mean, I saw that coming because I think that scene was, like, in the preview. But it was nice to see, like, the shock on Peter's face at that. And when Tony told him that if you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it, I think that was the climactic moment. I don't know. I felt that it was, because that's when, things, like, started to go down, because he didn't know what to do, but then he found out that he doesn't need this high-tech suit. This started out with his, I call it his SPIDEY suit, but I don't have another name for it. I don't know. It just looked like a sweatshirt, but that he used that suit to, defeat the Vulture. And he did everything himself, even when nobody believed him. He tried so many times. I feel it, there were some similarities with, like, The Boy Who Cried Wolf, because, I mean, every time that Peter, like, called, there was a sort of emergency, but no one was really believing him anyway. And in the end, when he's trying to get a hold of Happy through Ned, and Happy just hangs up on him, I was like, no! Now he's gonna be all by himself! And that's not fair to him. He's tried so hard. This kid is 15! You're all, like, expecting him to be an adult, but he's not. And that's why I was kind of happy at the end when he turned down Tony's offer to become an Avenger. I don't know. It made sense. He's a 15-year-old kid. He just wants to go to school. I had a lot of feelings about this movie. The scene in Washington with the Washington Monument when he was like climbing all the way up. And I was like, whoa. And he couldn't get in. I had no idea how he was going to get in. And when he finally did get in and save the decathlon team, I don't know. I saw a lot of parallels. Like, that scene kind of paralleled the scene in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 when Peter was trying to save Gwen Stacy, but she, died. Sorry if you haven't seen it, but it's been out for, long enough. You could have seen it. And when Peter went to grab Liz's hand, obviously he got her hand because, he went to homecoming with her, later in the movie. But, yeah. This movie had me shook. One of the things I did not like about this movie was the continuity with the other movies. If you were paying attention, the, opening scene before they introduced Spider-Man himself had a scene from after the first Avengers movie, and there's this cleanup crew trying to clean up the mess that the Avengers left in New York, the mess with Stark Tower, and they've been working on this for months, I guess. And then this new crew comes in and is like, hey, we're taking over. And then you get something, a screen that says 8 years later. This does not fit. It should be 4 years later because The Avengers was released 2012. And Spider-Man is supposed to take place in 2016, a few months after the events of Civil War. That is only 4 years. But it said 8 years later. This does not line up. This does not work. I don't know who made this mistake, but someone needs to get fired, okay? I'm sorry for going off like that. I was just really ticked off. I couldn't. The easiest way to explain this is to show you the Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline that a friend and I made today because we were not completely 100% on what happened and when did it happen. So I'm going to show you this timeline. You can provide any information you have in the comments below, but I was just very, very not happy. I was mad, and I need to show you this timeline before I get any more shook. We started at the beginning, the very beginning, with Captain America in 1945 when he gets frozen. This timeline does also not add up. He's frozen for 67 years. And he does not, get up out of the ice until 2011. Before that, we have both Iron Man and Iron Man 2, which these are fine. These fit in the timeline perfectly. And as does Thor, which is happening at the same time as Captain America, the First Avenger. But from the time he goes into the ice to the time he wakes up does not add up. Then we have the Avengers formed in 2012. And after that, the destruction of Stark Tower also in 2012. After that, we have Iron Man 3 in 2013, Thor: The Dark World in 2013, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2 both take place in 2014, despite Volume 2 coming out this year, 2017. Captain America the Winter Soldier came out in 2014, and that's when it takes place. There's also Age of Ultron, after the destruction of Stark Tower and after the events of the Winter Soldier. And after that, there's Ant-Man in 2015. After the events of the Winter Soldier, we get Captain America Civil War in 2016. And then Spider-Man Homecoming 8 years after the Avengers, which was in 2012. Does not add up. At the same time as Civil War, we have Doctor Strange, which then goes into Thor Ragnarok, which comes out this November and is supposedly taking place this year. Overall, I just hope that I will get some answers to the things that don't make sense in the timeline. Specifically the 8 years in Spider-Man Homecoming. I could live with a few of these not making sense, but the only one that I need answers for is the Spider-Man one. Hopefully I get my answers. That is all I have for you today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.